Hello and welcome to Voices of Parenting podcast. I am so glad you're here. My name is Mussi Diskin. I am an advanced nurtured heart approach trainer. I am a parenting coach. I am also an inner wealth coach, which means that I help people rediscover and connect to the people that they truly were all along, but may have gotten forgotten along the way. So to find out more about me and what I offer, you can check out mussydiskin.com. I would love to connect and I would love to hear your feedback. Reach out to energizinghearts@gmail.com. Thank you for being here, and I hope you enjoyed today's episode. Hello, everybody, and welcome back. Today we have Marcie Towle. Look back at our previous recordings to get to know more about her. Marcie is a big leader in the nurtured heart world. Marcie, you are the greatness, definitely, of generous giving, generous leading, generous leadership in the way that you show up in the community, show up in comments, show up in with support, advice, just really such a presentness that's like felt. And I know that that's so supportive to so many people and such a gift in today's busy world. It's hard to find that type of generosity. Thank you for being that. And you're modeling that right now by being on the podcast with me again. So thanks for being here.
Yeah. Thank you so much. I'm just breathing that in and really taking a moment to savor it. That was delicious. Thank you.
Yeah. We talked about this a little bit before we started the recording about taking a breath live on the camera, and really, like, for anyone who's trying to use the nurtured heart in any sort of way, it's always better when we pause and breathe. Just take that moment to land.
And it's not even really what we talked about topic-wise, but I feel like I have something to say about that.
Well, then go for it. Look at the spontaneity, Marcie.
Just the practice of taking that moment and taking a breath and breathing in what's here and honoring it and checking in, what do I want to do next, is such a practice and something that we get lots of opportunities, like in traffic or cooking a meal and some things going wrong, right? There's like lots of little micro opportunities to take that breath and check in with what is present for us right now. And then from that place, we can be powerful. So I always get the quote wrong. I shouldn't try to do quotes, but the Viktor Frankl quote about the power in the pause, or however that goes, but it's true.
I have so much to say on that, and I also want to talk about your topic, but I will say that this morning, as I was making my daughter's hair, my 11-year-old, I was like so just tense, and I was like, oh, it's because of this, it's because of that, it's because of this, right? Like blaming everything. I'm the victim here. And then I was like, I just want to reset. And I was like, I asked her, I was like, Rivka, how do you reset? How do you just reset? Like when you're so angry or upset and then you just like reset and transform, like, how do you do it? And she was like, you're always the one that helps me do that. I don't know how to do that. And I was like, I know, I just need a pause. Like the thing is when I'm running and moving and not stopping, because if I stop, then things won't get done. If I stop, we won't get out of the house on time. If I stop, the to-do list will just fall apart.
Yeah.
I'm not giving myself any chance. I'm not setting myself up for the possibility of resetting. It literally was so fast once I paused. And then the rest of the to-do list happens better,
Right.
I need to get myself it's like I can visualize, like peel myself off the to-do list, peel myself off the paper, like give myself that moment and then breathe, find my body, find my heart in my chest, find myself, find the ground. Even that simple, not even any big inner wealth, composting experience, just even a pure breath of just grounding myself. So powerful in changing the trajectory of the rest of the minutes that are coming my way.
Well, I think it's the difference between letting your agenda control you and you being in control of your agenda.
Yeah. Well, I guess it kind of ties in, because what we were going to talk about, what I was going to ask you about, Marcie, is, sometimes I talk to new timers. I really want more. People who are listening, if you have a nurtured heart story, please reach out. I really want to interview you. The story of somebody who's recently done a CTI or recently found success in nurtured heart, it's that transformation that's so magical and it's so passionate and alive. And life isn't stagnant and doesn't stay the same. So the kind of nuance with talking to someone like you is that nurtured heart is not something new. And it's not something miraculously transformative that like my whole life turned around. It's like the day to day, year to year, same relationship, still growing, still moving, same relationships, new intensity. And I think with some things, you're like, take this medicine and it'll be gone forever. Do this and it'll be gone forever, And so there's sometimes it's so easy in any healing modality, but also a nurtured heart, to feel like, why am I still here? Why am I still dealing with this? Like, we know this already, right? Like, I'm this X amount of years, X amount of training. Like, I went to X amount of CTIs. Why am I still not feeling like, I don't know, or like this is hard? Anyway, so I wanted to hear about your experience with that, with like the long road nurtured heart. What does that look like? And what does that mean to you?
Well, I feel like different relationships in my life keep offering me new evolutions of the approach and new, like, surprise. Guess what you just did? You just energized a whole bunch of negativity. You were pep talking and lecturing again instead of just focusing on growing inner wealth. And it's funny how, like, I got to spend some time with my mom recently, and it was funny how I slipped right back into that. You know, like she was asking my advice on some computer stuff, and I was helping her. And really, instead of building her inner wealth, I was kind of lecturing her about not getting so freaked out so easy, so that, you know, like, you're smart, you can do this, you're just letting yourself get intimidated. You know, so it's just funny how you can be the approach in so many ways, and then some old situation or long-term relationship comes up and you find yourself right back. Or maybe it's even the relationships that you're always trying to practice nurtured heart approach, but it's a new situation, or it pushes your buttons in another way, and you're right back to your humanity, right? I mean, we're all still human with nurtured heart, but like, I feel like our default wiring that we come to the world with has this spin of look for problems, fix problems, must fix problems, my job to fix problems. And that's not what we do with nurtured heart. So
I
it's
don't,
so easy to just fall back.
yeah, I don't know if it's like, if the right word is muscle memory, but there's some sort of like neural memory or something of like being in a familiar situation where when you were there before, it was normal or regular, or you were used to being negative, that you just like kind of fall right back into that without even that like that pause of like choice, it feels like.
Yes.
Right back there.
Yeah. Yes. That's really, like, really smart what you just said right there. You don't even remember to take the pause. You just like going through this is how this script goes.
Yeah.
Oh
And
wait.
it's like that same level of effort and intentionality that's needed that first time you come back from the CTI, or the first time you take that training, where you're like resetting yourself from saying something negative, and like your brain is going for like, what can I energize? And like really like stand 1, stand 2, stand 3, like cycling so consciously in your brain to make a choice to be different, that is required for like transforming these places that we haven't transformed yet.
Well, and I think that's a really good point that you make there, because when it's new, it is so alive, and it's so, you're intentional about it, and it's top of mind. And then when you've been doing it for a long time, it's kind of like the programming that runs underneath the surface, and you're not even necessarily aware. Like, I've noticed sometimes people who are newer to the approach or something, I'll just be talking with them and they'll be like, oh, you're just all about stand 2, aren't you? You're just constantly doing that. And I'm like, am I? I don't know. I guess maybe because it's a default, now to practice the approach. But anyway, I'm not sure what I was going to say about that.
Well,
Sorry,
because you
I kind of lost.
transformed the normal life you're in,
Yeah.
and then it's so weird to like be in a different track and like have a different default. But it's like we go
Yes.
back to whatever we were trained in that scenario.
Yes, and then to remember to be intentional and take the pause before, right? Like, I talk about presetting a lot of times when you're going into a situation where this certain thing usually happens, or this person says this thing and it makes me feel this kind of way, and okay, I'm going to be ready for that. I'm going to have my stands. So, yeah, I think it's kind of remembering to be intentional in those old relationships.
I have so many thoughts. I don't know where to go. Okay, I'll say one thing on this, and then I want to say a different area where this creeps up for me. The preset thing. I was thinking of when you said that. I was like, what's the trip up for me in that? Of like, the preset is when the preset is a preset to failure by giving myself this agenda. We said getting myself off the agenda before. Giving myself this agenda of needing to do it right. And so I'm walking in still with this agenda of being in control, where then the negativity is around where the agenda is not happening. So it's like, I'm not being greatness enough, or I am triggered, or I am, or I'm not, I'm seeing negativity. So then, oh no, you're getting it wrong. Like, stop that, and it's still the same, Whereas I think that the ways that I preset, act my best self, most is when I can remember that I don't have to have it any certain way, that all that needs to happen will happen. All that is what needs to be. And that I get to just be the observer of the circumstances. I get to be the observer, and I get to choose how to interact with it from this objective place where I'm not the responsible figure. I'm the visitor almost. And so then I get to choose what to interact with and what not to interact with, and how much and how little and with what energy. And it's about it's a curiosity of what will be, and I don't have to make it any certain way, and I can just and trust, I guess, that I will reset if I need to. But coming in from that place actually serves me, whereas I can trip myself up really easily by telling myself, because I was thinking, as you said, that I was thinking about presetting before my kids come home. And when I preset before my kids come home I'm going to be really calm, and I'm going to be really welcoming, and I'm going to be so happy to see them. And right away, I'm going to connect to each of them, and I'm going to talk to them about how their day was, and I'm going to be so present. Not guaranteed, but it is a huge chance that will be the day that I'm the most drawn to getting on my phone, doing other things, most resentful at my kids for existing, just because there's so much pressure around interacting with them that it's so heavy. I just want to distract or be busy with something else or get it over with and be done with it because it's so heavy. And if I have zero responsibility to be any sort of mom with them, there's no type of mom I need to be. It's just oh, my kids are home. That means the day's over. My work is over. I get to just sit and find out what's going to happen, right? Being present is all that is my job. So I don't have to do anything. Just sit and find out. Then naturally, it's a lot easier to actually be that way. So anyway, that was my.
Yeah, I think what you're saying really speaks to that whole idea of our default wiring be to see problem, fix problem. So if problem is I'm not nurtured hard enough when my kids come home, so I need to be preset and ready to be the best nurtured heart mom I can be, well, already you've put yourself in that position again of fixing something that isn't even a problem. It didn't need fixed.
And I mean, I think probably it can relate also to you and to others that don't have little children, where it's you're going into your mom's house and you're I'm not going to get annoyed at her today. I'm going to be, or think about a hard employee or employer. I'm not going to get annoyed today. I'm not going to this. I'm not going to that. And you walk in and you get annoyed, and then you're annoyed that you're annoyed.
Yes. Yeah. Oh, I am so familiar with annoyed because I'm annoyed. Or I just corrected, or I just gave a little mini lecture or pep talk or whatever, and it's not what I wanted to do, and I did it again. Now I'm mad at myself for doing it again.
Yeah, we're going to shame ourselves for shaming others. We're going to shame ourselves for shaming ourselves. It's just another version of negativity of stand one. So this other way that I was going to say that I have is that we talk about the Toys R Us, that we're our kid's favorite toy, and the toy has the buttons, right? The buttons that are more exciting and engaging and consistent, and you can count on them to show up and light up, and the buttons that are not as consistent, boring, lame. And in most parenting or educational paradigms, the more alive button is around problems and negativity, and the more boring, non-responsive button is when everything's just going right or normal. And so that's just kind of one of the ways that we teach the nurtured heart. So I think about the intense child who needs to drink the most out of everything and isn't going to give up until they are sure there's nothing to be gained. I think about my kids with sometimes they get these sugary. I know most of the world just celebrated Halloween. We celebrate a different holiday called Purim, where they get all the candy in the world. It's also a candy holiday, but they get these juice, these wax juice things that you twist off the top and you drink out this basically sugar and food coloring. It's awful. But anyway, and there's that drop at the top, and it's squeeze to get every single little drop out. I'm not gonna let any bit of negative energy, if there's anything there, I'm gonna. So they're gonna see the toy, and they're gonna see the boring button, and they're gonna when negativity doesn't work anymore, they're still gonna press that button because they don't believe it. It's there's got to be another way. Let me hit this button with a hammer or something. I got it. Where is it? It's got to be in there somewhere. I feel I do that. I'm that intense child who's just gonna try one more time. Sometimes I just want negativity to work because I want my kids to comply, and I want to control them. And I want
Yeah.
things to be how I want them to be, especially when I'm like stressed in general, or like the house is really messy, or I get this like fixed mindset of like, I need something to happen. And then it's just like, I'm like, well, maybe just this time, because we're so nurtured hard all the time, I could just like be super negative and it'll work. And they'll just pop into compliance. And it's not so conscious, but reflecting on it, that's sort of where my intensity is going, of like, oh, come on, like, just like, I could just like force this to happen. It's like taking something that doesn't fit in a bottle and trying to stick it in the bottle. Like, if I just try harder, So I'll just go at it sometimes. I'll just let loose sometimes and just like say
Yeah.
whatever I want to say. Blame my
I
kids,
talk about
shame my
that.
kids, you know? Yeah.
I talk about that like having candy for breakfast.
Mm.
Like, you wake up in the morning and you're hungry and there's some candy there and you don't really have time to make yourself a nutritious breakfast. And you're going to feel terrible later if you eat the candy, but it's easy, it's delicious, and you have a bunch of pieces of candy. And for a minute, it feels really, really good. And
Yes.
then it's not very long before you're like, oh, ew, I know better than that. Why did I eat the candy for breakfast? And for me, like indulging in that moment of energizing negativity just because it's the expedient thing right now, it feels just like that. Like,
Absolutely.
I know better, but sometimes I can't resist.
Yeah, totally. And in good times when I do that, my kids are so funny. They're like, "Why are you?" Like they'll reset me just because they're so sure that this is not a way a mother should be talking. Why my oldest son will be like, "It just sounds like you're like so angry, and it's the first time you're saying it. Like I don't understand. Like you just like sound like you're just like so upset over
I
this.
didn't
Like
have
I don't get
clarity,
it."
and now all of a sudden you're mad.
Yeah, like what, just ask me, like, like just. But sometimes we all just get spiral into a very negative space, and then I, at some point, hopefully, I'm the adult that resets myself so that we can all get reset. Which again is that pause, peeling myself off that paper. I think that's such a good image for me. I need to peel myself off the agenda. I need to peel myself off the to-do list and find out what needs to happen from circumstance. I need to not know what needs to happen. I need to find out what needs to happen by using my eyes, my nose, my mouth, my
Mm,
ears, my hands, my heart. Like look around. Even my, smell. Something's burning. Go turn off the oven. Like, oh, I need to use the bathroom. Like just like find out what needs to happen, Like my kids
yeah.
need to not do what I think they need to do. Instead, they need to do something else because that's where they're at right now. Like, yeah.
And how freeing is that really if we could manage to live that way all the time? Like being in the moment and letting the moment inform us of what's needed instead of what we go into it so sure knowing
Yeah.
what we think is needed. That's beautiful. I have 1-year-old grandbabies. They turned 1 week or so ago.
Happy birthday, babies.
They're so cute, they're so fun, but and they're starting to have their little personalities, and one will walk up and grab a toy from the other one or shove the other one, and it's like, oh, I didn't have nurtured heart when I had babies, and I also didn't ever have 2 babies at a time, so what's needed here? It's sometimes hard to figure out. It's fun though. It's a fun journey.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah. I wonder what that'll be like to have the objectivity of of a grandmother, and if I'll be less triggered so that I can actually do nurtured heart from a more objective sort of scientific way, like what's the word for like experimental way of like what'll this do and what'll that do, and let's play with it, because as a mother so often I am escalated myself and needing to just do so much resetting. There's so much emotionality in all of it that it's
Yeah.
very not experimental at all. Sometimes it is. I shouldn't put myself down. There are times I was with my 3-year-old now, like I had a 5-year gap. And so it felt like I had only one baby, and I was able to really just have fun with Nurtured Heart with her. And it was really cool. And she's pretty cool.
That is really cool.
Yeah.
I bet.
Yeah. So I think the title needs to come out of this end of the conversation, and I hope I remember that later. But I would love the title to be something like informing what needs to happen. This is way too many words, but like informing what needs to happen from circumstance versus deciding what needs to happen. Something around.
How about maybe it's like letting the present inform what needs to happen, letting the present decide what needs to happen. I don't
Letting
know.
the now lead the no. But I think like KNOW.
Yeah.
So this was
Yeah.
amazing timing because we're on time to end, and we like literally just, that was a great conversation. So I'm very excited. I want to give you a minute to tell people about where they can find you, how they can find you, what you offer, and then I'll also put it
Yeah.
all in the show notes.
Well, thank you. So I am a parent coach And parents hire me when their kids are struggling with something, like maybe they're not going to school or they're not getting a job or they just haven't had a respectful conversation with them in who knows how long. And I give them tools. Hint, hint, it's Nurtured Heart. We work together to build the relationship so that they can help their kids thrive. And my website is dragonfirecoaching.com, and you can email me at Marcie, Marcie, at dragonfirecoaching.com. And I'd be really happy and excited to hear from anyone who's a listener to your podcast.
Fantastic. And I want to just say also that where Marcie has a sort of specialty that Nurtured Heart is the same always, really. It's always the same. And where my kids are maybe on the younger spectrum, Marcie used Nurtured Heart, right, with her teens who are now adults. And so that's kind of something that she can speak from experience in.
Yeah, it's so alive and exciting for me. Yeah. But, I love working with, like you said, Nurtured Heart is Nurtured Heart. So maybe it's a leader in a business place, or maybe it's a parent of a younger kid that feels like, oh, something I said would maybe be helpful. So yeah, I love just Nurtured Heart in any age. So fun. I'm now saying infants to octogenarians because my parents are in their 80s and I have grandbabies. So
there you go. I love the experience at every age possible. All right.
Not yet, but
yeah. All righty. Well, till next time. Thank you for being here, Marcie.
Thank you, Mussi.
Hey, wait, don't go yet. Take a minute to find the beautiful quality that you have, that you appreciate about yourself.